Inspired by IMDb and Sight and Sound, Return of the Disc presents the Top 250 Movies List, a mini-series.
And we're back for the top 250.
We're not even high.
I'm just glad you're here, man. That's all.
Yeah, me too. No, this is fun.
I did have some tea too, so maybe it's tea.
It's the caffeine. We're both. Actually, I'm not quite 30 yet, but
Did I tell you? I switched to.
But
I got rid of coffee, dude. I've been.
Nice.
This is like my second week of coffee free.
So you're doing tea now?
I've just been having black tea.
Fuck yeah. I like that. I think that's better for you because it's more
once in the morning when I get up, and then maybe again in the afternoon, like today, and that's it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I felt good. Haven't had too many headaches or anything, but I've just noticed when I was on coffee, it sounds like a drug. I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like I had more anxiety, and this is like a different kind of caffeine.
It's weird because I don't know exactly how it works, but coffee you do first off become dependent on it, but you also if you drink coffee all the time, you're used to it. But if you don't, suddenly drinking coffee can be a problem, apparently. I was talking with my cousin about this because I had a episode where we drank coffee and then what is the orange juice and champagne? What is that? Mimosas.
Mm-hmm.
We had a breakfast thing and then we went on a hike. And I had a point where my vision went out for a second. It was only a little bit, but it still freaked me out because that hasn't happened to me before. And so I basically stayed away from coffee ever since. I mean, I might have it every now and then, but definitely not before I'm going to do something physical.
Yeah, it's dehydrating.
Yeah.
Probably
I think that's honestly what it was that and the alcohol probably combined dehydrated me, but still I'm blaming coffee.
But no, I've been more productive too. So yeah, it was a good change.
Oh yeah.
And black tea is super cheap. It was
yeah,
$5 for 100 packets. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Is coffee
cool.
Way more?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I guess it depends. I was drinking 3 to 4 cups a day.
Oh wow.
Every day. And then if I was tired, it'd be way more. It was just it was out of hand. So I was like, dude, this is so much better, and I'm not staying up, not wired at night. I'm not I'm sleeping a lot better. It's crazy how much different it's been in a positive. So
well, that's good.
Hey, works for me. I know Starbucks is super expensive. I don't go to Starbucks, but
yeah, I try not to anymore. I used to get it when I went to the airport, but now sometimes I still do. But if they have another option, I usually go there.
I've just been drinking Paul Newman's own tea, black tea.
Nice.
It says it's organic and goes to charity. So
I was drinking Aldi tea, Aldi English breakfast tea.
There you go. All right, guys, we're gonna head back to the list now, and we're gonna start with top 250. This is episode 7 of the miniseries of top 250 films, and as always, I'm joined today by Tom. Thank you for being here again. And yeah, so you want me to start? I feel like did you start last time? I can't remember.
I don't remember, but you have the transition start. So
I have the transition. My 100. Let me pull my list up. That'd be helpful. My 100th film on my top 250. We're breaking into the top 100 now.
Woo.
Which is crazy to believe. But this movie came out last year. It could be climbing this list eventually. We'll see. But I really enjoyed it. It's from Damien Chazelle. This is his epic film and controversial or mixed reviewed film of the year from 2022, talking about Babylon, starring Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, Diego Calva, Jane Smart, Jovan Adepo, and Lee Hoon Lee. And the cast is amazing. It follows 1920s Hollywood and the rise of sets us right into the silent film era. And we get a behind scenes look at how much fun it was. That was really surprised the hell out of me, because when you want to watch silent film this, in this day, current 2023, it's like silent films are boring, man. Why would I want to watch that? But all the stuff behind the scenes seems like a lot of fun, a lot of risk, a lot of craziness. And then it goes on to like the talkie era, and you're just dealing with these 6 characters and their struggles to adjust to the Hollywood changing and becoming what it is today. And now it's changed again, but it's constantly changing. But I just love the way that it was shot, and it doesn't feel like it runs 3 hours. It's the way that Damien Chazelle paced it out. It's really like a ongoing train, and that's really fueled too by this amazing score. But I really enjoyed the film. So, that's my 100.
Yeah,
Could go on and on and on. There's a review on the channel. Number 99, based on a true story, directed by Billy Bob Thornton, starring Billy Bob Thornton, Sling Blade. This movie is an unique film. I wasn't sure at times whether to laugh, cry, or be scared. It's one of those haunting films that has stuck with me, and it's a unique film. Just a powerhouse performance by Billy Bob Thornton. Number 98 is another feature film debut. This one is from Peter Bogdanovich, his first feature, The Last Picture Show. Da-da-da. So he was a critic, and he decided to make a film and set in little town Texas, where the economy's not so good and there's a closing movie theater, but it follows the township, the teenagers and the older adults grappling with the changes in Texas. I just thought it was a great debut. Awesome film. Love the black and white. Highly recommend The Last Picture Show. Can't figure out the slipcase. My next one, 97. We're talking about drinking his tea. Well, here he is in The Verdict, starring Paul Newman, directed by Sidney Lumet. This is a great film, courthouse drama. Paul Newman plays a washed-up attorney, and it's just a great courthouse movie. And it's one of my favorite Paul Newman films. A couple other ones are coming up. Number 96, and my last one of this 5, The Social Network. This movie, man, I hope I get a sequel. But this one is one that's grown on me. I saw it in theaters. I liked it enough, but now it's become more relevant and more of a powerhouse. I think it's one of Fincher's best films. Just a really great portrayal of like friends, and then friendship, and then going against friendship, and being business partners, and just how Zuckerberg is not a likable guy. Like it's such an honest portrayal here, and I'm really surprised that this movie even got made. And Aaron Sorkin wrote the script. It was amazing. So that's my first 5.
Nice.
Tom, kick it over to you.
Yeah.
For your next.
I really enjoy the one. I really enjoy the ones that I've seen on your list for that one. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited because we're getting to the ones that are like, okay, these are great films.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing in my guilty pleasures as much. But
I mean, I kind of got to the point where I'm just like, fuck it, guilty pleasures. I'm tossing that aside. Like, if I like the movie, I like the movie.
That's true.
So there's some movies that I think are campy on here, but they're intended to be campy. Like that was the point in the creation of them. So like,
I mean, you rewatch it too, so I mean, it counts for something.
Exactly. So like, yeah. So like, I'm just like, I'm not gonna like buy into that binary that like just because a movie is meant to be silly or something, you know, like that it's bad, and that so like, yeah.
That's a great point.
But that's my tirade on it. So my number 100 is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Terry Gilliam adapts Hunter S. Thompson's drug-fueled memoir starring Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro. Wild and wacky, shocking and trippy. Just a well-done film. Yeah.
Cool steelbook.
I like the steelbook, yeah. There's nothing inside.
Are you going to pick up the new 4K?
I don't know. I might. I mean, it depends. It seems like it's seemingly random what I pick up. Like, I kept being like, you don't need the 4K for Dead Silence, and then I got the 4K for Dead Silence. So, okay, number 99, Brain Damage. A young man gets an alien parasite attached to him that activates the pleasure center of his brain in order to convince him to bring him to ambush others, so the parasite Elmer can eat their brains. Quickly addicted to Elmer's goo, things get out of hand fast. Did I mention Elmer speaks English and has googly eyes? Frank Henlotter's midnight movie masterpiece is a zany, dark comedy drug addiction metaphor.
Wow.
I love this one. I just showed this one to you, so... Okay. I actually just rewatched this one on Friday, so I might have more to say about it. We'll see.
We'll see.
98 is The Last Temptation of Christ. For me, a film that humanizes Jesus like no other. It also puts him within the historical context of Rome and imagines what Christ might actually have been like to know. Willem Dafoe and Harvey Keitel are excellent, are the white, and Martin Scorsese's direction invests us in the biblical world. The final moments literally took my breath away when I first saw it. Also love the score. Didn't realize that Peter Gabriel of Genesis did the score for this movie until I was rewatching it, and I was like, wow. Peter Gabriel.
Big name.
And then Harry Dean Stanton has a cameo as Paul/Saul, which was I really like that one more this time. And then David Bowie's cameo as Pontius Pilate is really fun. Okay. Oh damn. Okay, give me 1 second. I forgot one.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how I missed this one.
The Passion of the Christ?
No, it's not on here. No, literally, I just put my copy of Passion of the Christ in a donation box after I saw Last Temptation because I was like, I don't need this movie. I've kind of regretted it because now I kind of like want to like show it to like Ian wanted to watch it, so like I was like, I guess I shouldn't have gotten rid of it, but so quickly because like it's not like a terrible movie, but at the same time, The Last Temptation is just way better. Okay. Let me grab one. I don't know how I missed it.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, I'm back. Number 97 is Cinema Paradiso, and I've only seen the director's cut, so I guess I'm talking about that one. I mean, I kind of had the theatrical on in the background at one point, but I wasn't really paying attention. A love letter to cinema that follows a boy and the man he becomes, and as a famous director, he returns to his hometown and remembers the projectionist who helped him fall in love with the craft. Such a joyful, beautiful, jubilant movie.
It is.
Okay, and then 96. Ah! It's part of my Hitchcock collection, which just fell on me. And let me find the movie.
Your Hitchcock collection that's fell on your lap.
It is Vertigo. Alfred Hitchcock examines his own obsession with platinum blondes in his most personal film. Jimmy Stewart acts as a private investigator with a severe case of vertigo following Kim Novak towards doom. Dark and haunting, a beautifully made film. And yeah, so that was 96. And this is what is going to stay in the box for the next two episodes. Just a different movie.
Okay, 95 for me has a couple names. One is Leon, and one is The Professional. Leon, the Professional. Really enjoyed this one. It's at least recent discovery in the last couple of years, but man, Natalie Portman is just fantastic in this movie. Gene Reno, I think is his name. He's amazing as the professional. It's just really stylized film here by Luc Besson. Just a fun, action-packed, gritty, and Gary Oldman is over the top in the best way. '94. Gotta have it on here. I watch it every year, at least once. Independence Day. 90s classic that launched Will Smith's career as Jeff Goldblum, and it's in here as well. Just started the disaster thing that the director does, the Roland Emmerich, what he went on to do, all these disaster films, has never topped been Independence Day. And Randy Quaid saves America, saves the world as a crop duster. It's so crazy and just sci-fi fun. I really enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
93 is a new discovery from last year. Blind Buy, actually. I just really discovered this film. It's about what it means for two guys to be friends and share everything. Bank accounts, lovers. It's called Heartbreakers. These guys are best of friends. They steal each other's women. They watch each other fuck women. They watch each other have sex with women. They just have a crazy time, and it's based on the director's experience in LA. There's the original poster.
Nice.
Bobby Roth. So he based it on this. Basically, they're buddy art dealers and womanizers, and he based it on his experience of moving to LA and becoming a director. But I just thought it was a hilarious, poignant, really honest portrayal of friendship and relationships that I think is still relevant today now that more people are having, they're being more open about their sexuality and sharing partners and what have you. That's all been going on too, like in the 80s and even before then. It's just now it's becoming a little more mainstream, and I think Heartbreakers is a lesser known film that was like ahead of its time.
Okay.
92, another one that I recently watched and was kind of really surprised by, and it's one that Steven Spielberg wanted to bury for whatever reason. Fandango, starring Kevin Costner and Judd Nelson. These guys are recent college graduates. They want to avoid the draft, so they go on a road trip, and hilarity ensues. So it's based on a short film by Kevin Reynolds. This is his debut film. Steven Spielberg saw the film, said, "Hey, why don't you come under our wing? You're at DreamWorks or Amblin Studio, whatever Spielberg had at the time. I'll fund it. I'll give you $7 million. Make whatever you want." And Spielberg hated the film, pulled it from the theatrical release, so it was kind of buried. But it found home at home video, and Warner Archive gave it this Blu-ray release. And I just don't understand the reasoning, but it's a lot of fun. Great soundtrack drops. You can see where they spent the budget. But it was really one of those gems that I found in recent years. And number 91, my favorite Kubrick film, and one that people love, and the author didn't really care for, The Shining. Yeah, Jack Torrance, played by Jack Nicholson, is just one of those creepy performances. What can I say about this movie? This movie is just insane. Kubrick directs the hell out of it with camera angles, particularly down the hallway with the Steadicam. A lot of Steadicam shots in this. Shelley Duvall, she's great in here as well. I didn't quite understand her performance until later on, and kind of see that Kubrick is essentially torching her, and it's one of those movies that has some amazing visuals and still holds up to today. It's just a powerhouse horror movie. I would say if you're wanting to get into horror, you're curious about the genre, The Shining is kind of a good way to open up to the horror genre.
Mhm.
All right, back to you.
All right. Oh yeah. Okay. Number 95 is Casablanca, which is one of the 4
So
movies.
close, dude.
Oh, hell yeah. Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, and Claude Rains star in this anti-fascist classic. Bogart goes from apathetic to patriot when he decides to aid his old flame Bergman and her husband escape Nazi-occupied Casablanca. So, yeah, I like that one. Number 94 is Blowout. John Travolta stars as a movie sound effects recordist who accidentally records a political assassination. John Lithgow gives an unhinged performance. Brian De Palma's direction is great. Number 93, The Way, Way Back. A lonely boy, Duncan, who feels out of place on a beach vacation with his mother's new boyfriend, finds purpose working at a water park among a group of eccentrics who become his friends. Sam Rockwell, Steve Carell, Toni Collette, and Liam James are excellent. It's a really cute movie. I like it. Number 92 is a trilogy. It is Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall. The first 3 Daniel Craig outings as James Bond are quite good. 4 and 5. These movies inspired me to explore the rest of the franchise. I love the more grounded take on Bond. Casino Royale is a fantastic intro. Eva Green is one of my favorite Bond girls. Mads Mikkelsen is intimidating. Quantum of Solace is the weakest of the 3, but still a good film, bringing Bond emotional closure over Vesper. Skyfall is beautifully shot, and Javier Bardem is frightening as Silva.
I will say the opening of the 4th one is pretty awesome.
No, yeah, the opening is really good. The rest of the movie is not very good, but I haven't watched it since theaters, so it might not be as bad as I remember it.
It's not good, though. It's not good.
5 is like kind of a mixed bag. Like, I feel like it goes from like good scene to bad scene, and like the ending is weird, and
it turns into Mission Impossible.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Or something turns, it's.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I like it. It doesn't feel cohesive with the others, if that makes sense. So I mean, like, I think the first 3 are a really good trilogy and that they go pretty well together and follow Bond through an emotional arc. I'm not sure what his emotion is supposed to be in the 4th one. He seems kind of depressed, but like, I don't know. He just kind of seems to be there. And then 5 is like, oh, okay. He has some good moments. Don't get me wrong. I like that movie. I just don't like it as much as those first 3. And my number 91 is The Wolfman, 1941. Lon Chaney Jr. plays the role of Lawrence Talbot, giving us incredible pathos as he realizes he's becoming a werewolf. Love all the wood scenes. The climax is electrifying, and Claude Rains is great as Sir John Talbot.
Nice. All right, number 90. Stranger Than Fiction.
Ooh.
This movie is very well done. Basically, Emma Thompson is a writer, famous writer, and she's having trouble finishing a book, and the narrator starts talking to its main character, who turns out to be a real person. So Will Ferrell's got to figure out what is his voice in his head, and he goes to meet this literary teacher, Dustin Hoffman, and he also is a very boring tax collector working for the IRS, and his life is very dull. Just love this movie. Leaves me with a smile. Thought it was very clever the way that it's done, and a tribute to really writers and novels and creatives. I think
Yeah.
I just really enjoy it.
I think that movie's kind of funny because they insist it's set in New York, but they really filmed it in Chicago. So
Chicago,
like
yeah,
people have like Chicago Tribunes and stuff. Like,
yeah, because I have been on that like main road too, where the
yeah,
buses where Harold Crick is picked up and stuff. So it's always fun to see like Chicago is always like Detroit, or it's New York, or it's in Transformers case, it's China. So, but you can see the Willis Tower in the background on one of the shots in Transformers, but they're supposed to be in China. So I was like, you guys have like 300 million in this movie. You can't even like wipe that
go
out
to
digitally
China.
or
Yeah.
something, or it's
Just
just
go
like,
to China. I mean,
yeah.
like seriously.
Oh, Chinatown. Oh, okay.
All right, sorry, go on.
But number 89, it's a movie that I've watched so much the Blu-ray stopped working. I'm just kidding, but I've watched it a lot. There'll Be Blood.
Hmm.
Paul Thomas Anderson's classic. I think it's his best film. Everything comes together in this film. Daniel Day-Lewis is just a monster, and it's really about the oil tycoons. Just a gripping drama, and Paul Dano is also great. Number 88, the original King Kong. This is one that my grandpa showed me when I was a kid, and I've always loved it. Um, there we go. I don't know. This thing
Yeah.
doesn't even look like the ape. It kind of
No,
does.
yeah, that's not a. I don't like that cover.
Yeah. This is the original poster. Very cool.
Mhm.
I love the stop motion. It's kind of a gimmicky now. It's kind of of its time, but really enjoy this one still for nostalgia, and I think it's still the best portrayal of the King Kong story.
Mhm.
87, The Departed. Martin Scorsese's movie that he finally got the Best Director Oscar for. Just a great movie about a undercover cop and cop corruption. Nicholson plays out of his mind gangster, and just a big ensemble cast set in Boston. Just love the movie. The more I watch it, just really well done. So glad it was an adaptation of of another film. I think it was like Internal Affairs,
Mhm.
and just really think it's one of Scorsese's best. Next one at 86 is Django Unchained, the Tarantino Western slavery epic. Didn't really like this movie when I saw it in theaters, and I just thought it was kind of an awkward watch. Maybe because I took my grandma, but it was it was one I just for whatever reason she loves Tarantino, but for whatever
Sure.
reason, it wasn't Inglorious Bastards, and I don't know, but I've grown to love it. From to really enjoy it, I see all the motivations for the characters and what Tarantino was going for. Like, no, this is the most evilest person alive. Candy, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is just one of the most evilest characters ever made on cinema, and that's the point. Um, I think he really captures, the brutality and the gross reality of slavery, and then there's the revenge story in here as well, and the romance, the Django. So it's sort of a remake too, I guess, because there's kind of a nod to the original Django's, but they're not really related. And Frank Nero, who played the original Django, is in this. But yeah, man, I just really enjoy it. I think it's one of the better westerns to come out in the last 20 years. Not that there's many anymore. But yeah, man, back to you.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. All right. My number 90 is Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I didn't know Arrow had a release. That's awesome.
They do, yeah. I just really wanted to get it because I like the cover. I
Yeah.
really just wanted it. Alien clowns are invading a small town. Pure 1980s camp. A spot-on spoof of the film The Blob. Love the look and feel of everything. Just hilarious. They wrap up people in cotton candy and shoot popcorn guns.
I still haven't seen it yet. I know you sent me a copy.
Yeah, that was why I gave it to you, because I got the Arrow. So,
Oh, thank you.
yeah. Number 89, It's a Wonderful Life. Frank Capra directs Jimmy Stewart in a pure movie about a life lived for others, the power of love, and what a difference one man can make. There's a ton of iconic moments in this movie. The romance between Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed is really like special. The frame narrative of an angel having to learn about a guy's life in order to save him from committing suicide is really an interesting choice and kind of bold for the 40s. That they're tackling suicide, not the like Christian elements.
Right.
Obviously, it's the 40s. Christianity in America is a thing. All right, number 88 is Saw. James Wan and Leo Annall's first film, a classic 2000s thriller about a serial killer who makes his victims solve puzzles to save their lives or die trying. A tight, twisty thriller. Truly iconic. Yeah, I love the puppet and the like pig mask. Carrie Elwes and Danny Glover are great in here. Like the original film was a really good movie. The sequels kind of dilute that to me. Like I think they become way more about gore than anything else. But this one actually like is pretty smart and well written. The ending twist is debatably kind of dumb, but like it was really shocking the first time. So, and I still kind of love it. I don't care. It's very campy. Okay, gotta find the next part. I did these entries like across multiple days, so
Across
sometimes
the universe.
Okay, number 87 is Seven. Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman search for a killer, patterning his murders on the 7 deadly sins. Disturbing and bleak, David Fincher's direction is top notch, and Kevin Spacey is really creepy too. I mean,
What's in the box?
yeah. When his shit came out, I was kind of like, maybe it enhances 7. I don't know. It ruins all of his other movies.
Oh yeah, American Beauty. I can't.
Oh well, that one I couldn't even watch before I knew
Yeah.
about that,
Yeah,
and I was
same.
like, oh yeah, I'm never watching it now.
Yeah.
Number 86 is the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy, and I put these in the wrong order. The Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, and At World's End. Gore Verbinski brings us a trilogy of adventure fantasy films based on the Disney ride. It should not work, but it does. The Curse of the Black Pearl is basically perfect. Dead Man's Chest is dazzling. At World's End is a flawed finale, but is better than you probably remember. Johnny Depp's Captain Jack Sparrow is an icon of the era.
And they would continue on. I think they made 2 more.
They did make 2 more. I don't count those because they weren't made by Gore Verbinski, and also they're just not very good.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
To my mind, like the original trilogy, they actually kind of planned it out. I mean, maybe they didn't have the plan for 2 and 3 in that one, but it does grow out of the ending of 1 pretty beautifully, and it's the same team behind the scenes. And I think 3 is the perfect ending for the franchise. They didn't need 4 and 5. Well, okay. There's some stuff in there where I'm like, okay, you probably could have trimmed this and like made this like a better, like a more sleek film. I have some issues with it. Like it's definitely not a perfect film, but going back and watching it in comparison to 4 and 5 for me, I'm like, okay, yeah, actually, it's a much better film than I think it was, than I thought it was at the time. And it wraps up the Davy Jones arc really well. That being said, I think my main criticism of it is the handling of Elizabeth Swann. Earlier in the movie, she literally becomes the king of the pirates. And then at the end of the movie, she is barefoot and pregnant to be left on land for a decade at a time without seeing her husband. When they bent over backwards to have Davy Jones be on land, the entire franchise, like, why the hell can't she just get on a ship and he just comes and visits once a week? I mean, like, seriously, that you had so many options that you could have done instead of leaving her alone with no family on on land, you know? I don't know. That's just me though. I just felt that was kind of an egregious change.
I just felt highly disappointed with the sequels. I just love the original.
No, that's fair. I really enjoyed 2. 3 grew on me, and now I will watch all 3 of them together as a single marathon.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah, cool. So back to you.
Okay, back to me. You had Casablanca at 95, right?
I think so. Let me check.
I got it at 85.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So close to overlapping.
Yeah, you're right. So 10 off. Not bad.
Another film that grew on me. Just really felt really didn't really like it, and then I watched it a couple more times through the years, and really can relate to Bogart's like depression at the bar at times, and just regrets and all that. So it's a nice little redemption for him too, I think, on some level. And everything that you said was right on. It's just it's a considered a classic, and there's so many great lines, classic lines. So it's just one of those films that it's kind of a no-brainer for a list.
Yeah, I would agree though with you. Like, it took me like 2 or 3 viewings before I really liked it. The first time I was like, the first time I watched it, I was like, this is it. Like, this is such a highly regarded movie, and this is it. And then the second time I was like, actually, it's not bad. And then the third time I was like, actually, I really like this movie now. And then like it's only gotten better every time I've watched it.
It is strange how that works.
Yeah.
All right, 84. One I liked right away. The Big Sick.
Nice.
Basically, what's his name? Camille. Camille. I can't pronounce his last name, but Camille is great in this. Zoe Kazan plays his girlfriend. She becomes sick and goes into a coma, like right after they had just broken up, and he is forced to really get to know. He doesn't want to leave her, and he decides that to get to know the parents and stuff like that. But what I really like about this film is it doesn't play the typical rom-com thing where she wakes up from a coma and automatically forgives him. She is like, no, I don't want to be with you anymore. Like, we're done. I broke up with you, and I still remember you as an asshole. Because he's done all these great things for like the past hour with his family and made up for, in his mind, what he did to her. But it's just, I like that twist where she wakes up and she's like, no, I can't, nothing to do with you. So it's pretty good movie, pretty well done comedy here, and it's also really interesting. Pakistan, the way that they live, and it has some commentary on the whole predetermined marriage, predetermined bride type thing. The family picks out the bride for you, and he wanted to marry a white woman. So it's kind of that deal, and that's why he broke up with her, and she goes into a coma and stuff like that. But highly recommend The Big Sick if you're looking for like one of those clever rom-coms with a little intelligence. I really enjoyed it. Number 83 is the original from Wes Craven, Scream. And I don't think it's ever going to top this movie because I think you pointed out to me the marketing from the 90s, and I don't know, I don't remember what the marketing was like, but I think they were all marketing, Drew Barrymore on the cover of posters and stuff. So everybody thought Drew Barrymore was going to be like this big part of the movie, and she's in a big part in the beginning. But the choice to do what they do to her character in the beginning is just, I thought it was just ballsy, man.
Mhm.
And then it goes on to this meta horror comedy, some great kills, and just really started it all with the ghost face becoming one of the iconic horror icons.
She was actually going to be Sydney, but then she got another movie, so
Oh, really?
she wasn't going to be able to do it. And so Wes Craven was like, "Well, what if you were Casey instead? So you'll be on set for like a week." And she was
Oh,
like, "Yeah, I can do that."
that's smart. Gosh, a week to shoot that? That sounds amazing.
I mean, I don't actually know how long it was.
I know, but I mean, it just sounds right. It just sounds
Yeah.
like,
I
take your
mean,
time and shoot that sequence. Like, wow, okay.
There was 2 documentaries that I got with my initial Scream trilogy set, and one of them was talking about like the opening sequence, and apparently like Harvey Weinstein was going to shut down the movie, like he had kind of lost faith in it. And then Wes Craven like hurriedly cut together the first 12 minutes of the movie, which is the opening scene, and screened that for him, and he was like, "Okay, you can keep going."
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, like, you do have to remember fucking Harvey Weinstein is very much involved in that movie, and that kind of taints it. But still, like, that was just a fun story that like the first 12 minutes saved the movie, like
Yeah.
to make it to even be made.
Yeah. It's a classic though.
Oh yeah.
Number
Sorry, go on.
82 is Guillermo del Toro, The Shape of Water. This is a fantastic fantasy, interesting monster movie. It's just a nice twist on like the whole creature to Black Lagoon thing. What if the woman fell in love with the creature, and there's a romance, a lot of commentary on just a lot of different themes that Guillermo del Toro weaves in here, as far as sexism, and there's the whole like political war thing going on, and Michael Shannon is just perfect type for this villain for this movie. He seems like he's one of those Edward G. Robinson type actors in this. Just plays a great throwback villain.
Mhm.
Really loved all the cast, and it's just a magical movie that I can watch countless times. Cool creature effects too.
Oh yeah.
Number 81. I had a clever thing to say about this, but I don't know if I can say it. But it's Mad Max Fury Road. I really enjoy this movie, and it shouldn't work. All the trailers indicated that it wouldn't work. And why are they making this movie? Then I went and saw it, and I realized why. Because it is a badass film, fueled by an awesome score. It's basically a high-speed chase movie that doesn't let up. It's actually an insane film that it even got nominated for like Best Picture and
Mhm.
all these other. It's total metal, and Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron are just amazing in this. And I heard they didn't like each other on the shoot, so I think that obviously might have helped. But it's just insane what George Miller did with this franchise, and sort of reinventing it and giving it its best entry, in my opinion, of
Oh yeah.
Mad Max
For
Fury
sure.
Road. So, all right, that's my 81. So we're back to you, Tom.
Okay. My number 85 is V for Vendetta. Hugo Weaving plays the vigilante known as V. Natalie Portman gradually becomes his assistant in destroying the House of Parliament, a symbol of oppression in a future fascist Britain. Stylish, exciting, with deep themes for a 2000s action movie based on the Alan Moore graphic novel. This is also my favorite Alan Moore adaptation
No,
to film. The Watchmen series is probably number 2, but they tend to do a pretty poor job when they're adapting Alan Moore for the screen. So, number 84 is Call Me by Your Name. Timothy Chalamet and Armie Hammer develop a gay romance in 80s Italy. Subtle and heartwarming and heartrending and sexy. A well-done film. Number 83 is Videodrome. David Cronenberg's exploration of the descent of a pornographer, James Woods, searching for a rare video of torture. Dark, disturbing, the body horror effects still hold up incredibly well. The scene where he pulls the gun out of his chest. Ugh.
Yeah, that's crazy. And he pulled it off.
Yeah. Okay. Number 82 is Blade of the Immortal. A samurai cursed with immortality is hired by a little girl to kill those responsible for the death of her family. Basically a samurai True Grit, but super intense with crazy action scenes. The 100th film from director Takashi Miike.
Wow, 100 films.
Oh yeah, he's insane. He makes like 3 or 4 movies a year. It's like Ridley Scott, but on crack. It's insane, and I'm just like, I don't even know how you do that. Like, but good for you, I guess. But he's done that for like decades now, like doing like 3 or 4 films. So yeah, that was his 100th feature. Okay, number 81 is the 7th Voyage of Sinbad and the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, 2 Ray Harryhausen classics following Sinbad the Sailor from the Arabian Nights. Harryhausen pioneered stop-motion animation as special effects monsters in live-action movies. These films have a dragon, a cyclops, a skeleton, a ship's figurehead, a statue of Kali, a centaur, and a crazy half-snake lady, among other monsters that Harryhausen created. He would be a major inspiration to directors like Tim Burton. So I love these. I actually like went back and forth between having one of the 2 Sinbad movies on here, and then I was like, I really can't decide. He actually made 3 Sinbad movies, but the 3rd one's okay.
Is that a box set?
Yeah, this is a box set. It has 7 of his movies in here. So, but yeah, my 2 favorites from him are the 7th Voyage and Golden Voyage of Sinbad. A lot of people really like Jason the Argonauts too. I like most of his movies, but the reason I didn't go with Jason and the Argonauts is like it's a little more serious than the other ones, and like I don't know, 7th Voyage and Golden Voyage are like really campy and fun. So
awesome.
There's a scene in the 7th Voyage where like this magician turns a lady. They put a lady and a snake in a basket, and then he goes like magic, and then she comes out and she's a Ray Harryhausen half snake half lady monstrosity, and then they play music and she dances, and that's like 3 minutes of her like dancing, to a Bernard Herrmann score, and it is just like you literally are just like the first time you watch it, you're just kind of like what. Okay, and like that's how the audience reacts in the movies. And now I kind of watch for other people's reactions who haven't seen it because I'm like, oh, how are you going to react to the snake lady? Okay, so that was 81. So yeah, I'm good.
All right, number 80. Tom Cruise is The Last Samurai. This is a movie that I had to convince the person working the ticket booth to let me in, and really enjoyed this film. Ken Wannabe is great in here as part of the samurai crew, and just a adventure, kind of a understanding of different culture movie. It's a war movie. I think it's I haven't seen it in a while, but I think it probably still holds up. I have to say, and just really enjoy. I think it's one of Tom Cruise's best films. 79, Elliot Gould in Robert Altman's The Long Goodbye. He plays Philip Marlowe, and this movie is a mystery movie, a crime film whodunit type thing, and it's a slow burn, like a lot of Altman films are. They have the unique Altman flavor to it, but it's leads up to this like one of the greatest endings I've ever seen in the film. And I don't know why, but I just really it was so satisfying the way this movie ends. I was like, I love this movie. So I didn't really care for it when I first saw it as a familiar theme to this list, but when I watched The Long Goodbye on this Kino Blu-ray restoration, I was just like, dude, I want to do that in the film someday. Like this is crazy, like crazy ending. I just love it. Number 78, classic film, Harold Ramis directs, Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. This movie has inspired many films to copy its same day style. They're stuck in the same day style. It's a sweet romantic comedy that I do watch every year.
Mhm.
Number 77 is The Godfather Part 2. Coppola's epic in the Godfather universe that I just the idea of having De Niro play the young Vito Corleone and having that storyline really enhances where Anthony is at this point and his path of going down darker and becoming, the cruelest Don of them all. It's just an amazing film. And 76, the last one of the week for me, is Fast Times at Ridgemont High, directed by Amy Heckerling. This movie is hilarious, has an awesome soundtrack written by Cameron Crowe as well. And what really is relevant is it tackles abortion, and that part of the movie kind of surprised me for as slapstick and as hilarious this movie is. It tackles some real themes, and I think that's why this movie is a comedy classic. That's it for me. Well, let's see what you have, Tom.
Okay. All right. My number 80 is Walkabout. Two British children lost in the Australian outback after their father's suicide meet a young Aboriginal boy on his walkabout and become fast friends. Nicholas Roeg's film is a beautiful meditation on life in nature and in Western civilization. The final moments of the film, I guess I'll just spoil it because I want to talk about it, but like they eventually return to like Western society, and in the final moments of the film, the girl is thinking back to just swimming with her brother and the Aboriginal boy in the wild. And they don't say anything, but it's clear that she's wondering if she made the right choice all those years ago to come back and not to stay out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it really makes me think about the like taming of the savage within us all, like the like leaving the wild and entering civilization. Is that the right choice or not? And in some ways yes, and in other ways no. There's never really a clear-cut answer to my mind. But yeah, so really excellent film. Number 79. Number 79 is Bad Times at the El Royale. Drew Goddard's second film finds an all-star cast at a mysterious hotel on the California-Nevada border. The film just gets crazier and crazier as it goes, an underrated thriller. They're all fighting over a hidden treasure trove of stolen gangster loot. It's very, very fun movie. Everybody does a really good job. It's funny too because like you almost think that like some of them are going to be main characters because they're stars, and then they're just not. Like one of them, I won't say which, just straight up gets shot in like the first 20 minutes and just isn't in the rest of the movie. And then Chris Hemsworth doesn't even come in until the last like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Or 20 minutes, whatever. But yeah. Number 78 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino's love letter to 60s Hollywood follows Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie in the months leading up to the attack from the Manson family. Funny, endearing, very well done. I love that the dog.
Yeah, this is great still look.
I love that. It's a very quiet film for Tarantino until the last few minutes, and I love the restraint that he showed with it. And I love his portrayal of the Manson family. That was really interesting because they're very infamous, and he kind of does it very low key, I feel.
But still, you have a little bit of the Texas Chainsaw in there too, I think.
Oh, for sure. Okay. So number 57 is The Talented Mr. Ripley. Matt Damon stars as Thomas Ripley, a con man who takes over the life of a man he lusted after and then killed. Based on the novel by Patricia Highsmith, an all-star cast, tragic, intense. This was also written in the 50s, so like it's. I tried to read the book, and I didn't notice so much of the queer subtext, but like maybe you do notice it if you read it like more carefully. I think Patricia Highsmith was a lesbian. I'm not 100%, but her novel The Price of Salt became Carol, which she wrote under a pseudonym. Yeah. So I can't imagine a straight woman writing that novel in the 50s. Just, you know, it was a really dangerous novel to write, even under a pseudonym. But anyway, I really love this one. Like you have like 50s Rome. The cast is great. Anthony Minghell's direction is really good. It's a really fun movie. It surprised me. I just happened to click on it on Netflix. I had no expectations, and I loved it.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And then number 76 is The Thing, 1982. John Carpenter's remake of the 50s film finds Kurt Russell and a team of scientists in the Arctic under attack from a shape-shifting alien. Incredible special effects, a downer ending, incredible tension. Just really well done.
It is.
Movie. Yeah. So I love the steelbook too.
So good. That's a nice steelbook.
Yeah. Well, that's it for me.
And that's it for me. And that's it for the show. So this has been episode 7 of the Top 250. So happy you guys joined us, and leave the comments below on your thoughts of the films we present today or anything else. And stay tuned for episode 8 next week. We'll be back. And as always, peace out.
Peace out.
For more Return of the Disc, visit returnofthedisc.com. Check out the audio version of today's show, available on all major podcast platforms. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel